3.
Hello, my name is Raghav and I'm a sophomore at Texas STEM High School. In the past couple of months, I've been getting pretty interested in these things called lake drop-offs. These are points in a lake terrain where it goes from a pretty steady downward slope and suddenly drops and creates crevices where people can get stuck in. And this can happen anywhere in a lake, not just in the middle of the lake, but even near the shoreline. What got me interested in this is that last summer in Lake Sammamish, one of my family friends died in shallow water due to a drop-off. At that point, I didn't know what drop-offs were, and I was confused. How did they die in shallow water? And then I started learning about what a drop-off was and how it was caused. Then, as we apply this to real-life situations in lakes, not just in Lake Sammamish, but in Washington and throughout the world, there's no real system in place to detect these types of things. And this all boils down to the same problem. People have to watch out for themselves. In controlled areas like swimming pools, we have lifeguards who can see when people are drowning and go save them. But in lakes, we don't have that same privilege. We have to watch out for ourselves. If we get stuck in those crevices, other people won't notice us, and they're not going to come save us. That's what brought me to my own idea. How can I implement my own detection system where I both detect lake drop-offs and detect when people are moving towards those? When I came to this idea, I started thinking about different ways I could implement it, and I came across this idea after a couple iterations through it in my head. It took a couple of months. Now let me talk about my prototype. This uses a thermal imaging sensor, which captures both thermal sensor and motion sensor data. What this is meant to do, it's meant to detect when a warm body, like a human, is moving towards that drop-off point, and detect when they're actually moving towards that area, and if they're moving within that area using the motion data. Now let me show you a quick demonstration of this. If I move my hand towards the center, it's going to create an alarm. Now, if I were to use anything else, it's not going to do anything. But when I use my hand, it's going to create an alarm. This works for any warm body. So if I use this heater and put it in, it's going to work too. Now, this is a pretty rough implementation of my idea, which is that in a real-life situation in a lake, if someone were getting closer to this area, then that would create an alarm, and other people could go save them. And that is supposed to be a solution to this problem that we're facing. To complement this, for Lake Sammamish, I collected bathymetric data and created a bathymetric visualization of this data using USGS data of Lake Sammamish from 2011 or 2021. With this data, I created two different visualizations. One of the raw data in a 3D format, and one of that same format, but separated into three different zones. These zones consist of a safe zone, a medium zone, and a high-risk zone. And these take into account both height/depth of the terrain and how deep the slope is from one point to another point. Now, what this detects is if you're safe, you're at a higher area. If it's medium, you're getting lower, but it's not too steep. And if it's high risk, you're at those lake drop-off points. These two things come together and give me a proof of concept that this idea could really work. And that's why I want to reach out to the city of Sammamish. Me personally, I think that these two things hand in hand could create a system that could be pushed towards real-life application. And if you guys think that this is feasible and applicable, that we could work together and move this rough prototype from just a design and move it closer to being applied to real life. Thank you for your time.